Welcome back, friends. It is time for a little update on the Little Green Bean Cottage. So far, since we left you, Mike has um, insulated all of the walls. He put up new wallboard, filled all the holes with spackle. Now he's giving them a fresh coat of white paint. Now, white paint is happening on almost all of the walls, but I have a little surprise for you. We did some green, just a little bit, and I love it. Now it is time for the flooring. So he's got his table saw set up outside so he can easily cut down those flooring pieces as he needs to. So he's putting them in place. They simply snap in place and then you've got to use a rubber mallet to lock them down. But it's looking really good. We ended up going with the more of a whitewashed gray look. It's got a little bit of brown in it. It's really pretty in the space, and overall I'm so happy with how this is looking. I loved my old floors, but I'm really loving this change. It was time to move all the furniture out of the back corner and into the middle of the room so he can work around it and finish flooring back here in this back corner. You can see the room is looking so good. It's it's a little cluttered. It's a little crowded with all the stuff, but that's okay. We can work around it. In this area, he has to notch out a little bit of this trim. So he's just using his multi-tool to notch out just a tiny little sliver so that the flooring will slip nicely under the trim so he doesn't have to take that off. And then it gets a little tricky here. So keep watching, but he's a master. He figures everything out. So first he's got to cut this one piece here so it's got the notch in it. So it's going to be a little wider on the one end and it gets skinnier to fit down the other side of the wall. He's making sure to measure this twice, get all of his cuts right so he doesn't have to do this twice, but he's going to have to cut with the saw and then he's going to snap the rest of the board, which you can do using an X-Acto knife. He's going to show you here in just a minute, but Luna wants to play catch. All right, so he's going to cut just a little bit of a notch into the board. Doesn't go all the way down. You can see how deep he had to cut. And then he's using the X-Acto knife to score along where he wants to snap it. It helps here to have a really nice sharp blade. He's using the grooves in the LVP to just follow along to make a nice straight line. He also drew a line to follow. He's got a really steady hand. I would need a ruler to do this if I was doing it myself. But anyway, he's going to score it a couple of times to get through the thickness, and then it's going to snap off pretty nicely. You can see here. Now he's just got to cut through the pad on the back because this LVP that we used had the pad already installed, so we did not have to put down that layer separately. Gets a little bit tricky in this section. He thought it would just kind of snap in place, but you can see he's struggling a little bit trying to get it to fit in that groove, but also snap together to the other pieces that are already installed. He ended up having to work back the other way just in this row because it's just not, he didn't have enough room to slide it in there. So this way, moving that other board, he can snap it in place and then slide it down along the wall. It's not quite in there all the way, so he's using a scrap piece of flooring to pound that piece the rest of the way in. You never want to actually pound or hammer onto the piece you're using. You want to use a scrap piece because they do break very easily. But it's snapped right into place. It's right where he wants it to be. So now we're going to finish that up, and then he can keep going on the rest of the floor once we get this row back in place. All right, took a little bit of work, but it's all done. All the pieces are in there nice and snugly as they should be. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss anything. We'll have more updates for you very soon.